Good evening, everyone, and praise the Lord. We have the privilege today of learning at the feet of a very astute businessman, our elder, Mr. Obeng. He is experienced in finances and investment. He has knowledge in the industry, over 40 years of knowledge in the industry. He holds a BSc in computer science from KNUST. He also holds an MBA in marketing from the University of Ghana. He sits on a lot of boards. He manages a lot of investments. So we are here today to speak to him about our finances, to find out that as we get into the new year, whatever resolutions we are making in respect of money, how do we make more money? How do we hold on to our money? How do we make sure that we are able to put our money in the places that God wants us to put our money in, and also be able to benefit society in respect of our money, and ensure that in our old age, we don't have to rely on our children. We don't have to become beggars. We can manage our resources and be comfortable. So that's here. So we'll just move briefly into the management of our finances. We'll ask our elder and Mr. Obeng to let us know what exactly it means to manage your finances, what you do in respect of your money.
Praise
Elder,
the Lord.
thank you for joining us. And
Kwaba, and you may I don't ya penya, ya elder blessing, near Becassa was sika sem home. Sena was ye cry sika, ya elder one in dear ye was sika sem home, a cost school ye, school pony near Kekahuni now. Now we cross sika, no ye penny where you may be a bebre. And you may bet chance, I feel baby ye, send ye bet cry sika ye, a then was ye, yes, and ye bay your bon, a berwan, I say a yap cry. Yen kwa stressre na yen how ye hon so e ma yen ni sika enti enwume ye besua se na wosi ye kra ye sika sem baby e wosi ye deko ne ne e wosi ye de fa ye sika sem ho.
Praise the Lord.
hallelujah.
Thank you, my sisters, and thank you for the good things said about me. I'll begin by saying we all know money is very, very important. And anything that is important in our lives, we have to take good care of money.
So be sha se obeka se sika de ho hia ye na bibia ho hia wo abrabo mu no e wo so hwe so ye.
How to acquire money, how to maintain the money, and how to grow money.
Se na obe hwehwe sika, se na obenya sika no, se na obekra na se na obema sika na adoso. E ho hia.
And we will try to go through this today. The topic, I'll summarize the topic by saying money management.
Nya ya ba besua no obetwa ne ti aye ne ti ne se na obehwe osika so yie.
How does one manage his money? Right. I want to start by saying, look, if you haven't got something, you can't manage it.
Se na obehwe osika so, ni obehwa se obeka ne se woni bibia enye woni hwea wo hwe so.
So first and foremost, the topic assumes that you have some money which you want to manage.
Eti ne kire se wo sika bia wo pesa wo hwe so.
Right. And as Christians, I always say, God desires that we should prosper.
Say ye Christopher ne ra de pen se ye nyina ye betumpon wo ye sika sem.
It tells us in Deuteronomy 8:18.
Sa tropo yi ewo ho.
Right. We have to prosper.
Wo say ye tumpon.
Right. And as Christians, it says, look, if we are committed to Him and we learn of Him, we'll be prosperous and successful.
Say ye Christopher say ye jaya ho me rade ni etena se no no pese yetena ye betum pon wa ya brabo.
And that's what it tells in Joshua 1:8.
No so Joshua 1:8.
You know, so God desires that we are successful. God desires that we prosper.
Ewade hwe kwan se ye nyina ye betum pon, ye nyina ye be yi.
But we also need to work at it.
And so ejuma wo kwan wo se ye.
Okay. To manage money basically means that how do you manage? There are three things I want to look here. You have money, you have acquired money.
Nyama miensa ne wo ha se wo sika, wo nya sika bi.
Right. Some of us have to acquire that you are working and you are being paid a salary, income.
Enum bi no ye ejuma ye ma wo sika na wotwe bia anase bosome bia wo nya sika bi.
Maybe in the formal setting.
Se wo ejuma ya hyehyɛ bibia pepepe yi.
And some of our sisters and brothers, they are not in the formal setting.
Enum bi no ye ni sa ejuma ye bia no.
So we also look at how can they apportion some of their resources.
Into be hwe se omo sika no se na omo be hyehyɛ ni yie. Se na be ya omo be hwe so yie.
To be able to say they are also earning some income.
No one so etimi aka se wo nya sika bi.
And based on that income, also plan how to manage the income.
So omo nya se sika, omo be hyehyɛ se na omo di omo sika na be ye adwuma na se na omo be di ne ne ekeka ho.
When you get money
So onya sika
and you spend all the money,
na wo di ni nyina.
you cannot be wealthy. You cannot acquire wealth.
Untimi ntumpon, untimi nye sikeni.
You know, so we will look at ways and means that we will be able to save some monies.
Enti ye behwe kwan a ye betimi de sa sika ne bi esie.
It's clear. Whatever you earn,
Bibia wonya no.
you must earn. You must spend less than what you earn.
Ni awodi wonya wonya na wo se ye ketwa kra.
And the difference,
Na uche man,
that is what will make you rich, poor, or be successful in money matters.
wo ye wo nchichemu a no na be kire se wo betumpon wana se wo ntumpon wa esikafa. Beke na enwo domo na won kase beni wo ba kwa wo shika na ojugba. Ni mo hwele wo elder nke wa ke shika no koni ona nike ona esano kweno kwa kweno le ho esane da alo esane fa ewo ye chonwo akeshi beni wona ashika aji oba atuni ba habo shika kenyongbo kenani fatai kwa na kan shika he ya akeshi oba ye pen esano ke ekwatu esano kweno oba ajami no ni hani ana moni ba hwele ke moni hwele moni ba fe shika cha lo ni achi ke moni eya yi hin.
So, Elder has said that in order to have money or grow your wealth, you have to spend less than what you earn. And I think that in our society, a lot of people have difficulty with this. Sometimes you speak to people and they're like, the money isn't even enough. You're living from one paycheck to the other. So, and the things that you need to do, they are important. Sometimes you speak to women in the women's ministry, women who work hard, and you ask them, don't you have a little money put away? Don't you save a little? They're like, where is the little to save? Every month, even the expenditure, the money is not enough to cover the expenses. So, before Elder moves ahead, we will just, sort of want him to pause there and explain that. Is it just a matter of formula, spend less than what you earn, or how do you make sure that you can do this?
Yeah, Elder Nia kasa say unye sika e wo se odi bisi. And so yetimi hu ana you meku ma bebre e ka say sika ne ndo so nya obedi mpo na ya asem nya ode betwa ho pa ya asem nti obeye den nya bi die sie ye pi wona shika mom shi me no ba kula shika no ba na fi on pocket we e twon sane e wo ten no ba kwe o shika sane ojudba koni onye no ke kwato alo no ko keke ni ka shi keke akeshiko wana ne sane ke ena foshi ni okwe ya keshi oye ni bi ife mu then obanye no okwe wo shika no ojugba.
Thank you, Anita. Before we discuss about streams of money, many a time we think that you need to grow your income, the money you get. And how do I grow the money I get? The assumption is that you are getting some money. Maybe I'm working in a formal setting. Right? I'm working in a formal setting. Let's say I'm taking 1,000 cedis. I may have some financial goals. Maybe I want to buy a piece of land, maybe in 5 years or 10 years, and I need to work towards that. That means that I need to have more income. What do I do? We have something we call as multiple stream income.
Ose ni edi kan ni san hwa ye adwuma wo bibia ya ye nhyehyɛ busu ni bia obenya osika sei nhyehyɛ wo ho yie na ne ho hia ne sɛ ɛwɔ sɛ osika 1,000 na wonya no sɛ anhwa wo bibia eda wani ma opɛ sɛ ɔtɔ asase anase ne ma ekeka ho enti sasika na wonya no sɛ na obetimi ama na ni anase akwan ho roben na obetimi ahwehwɛ de aka nea wo no sɛ ne be ya obenya sika Tonwa keshi ke okwe lele obanya ni oye no twon ni awo bonyomo kanyon gwe na wo shika no oye ni bi hu no otan no fi otan no he shipon ke ni bi ni fatahe ten no ba kwa o shika no no nya no fi na kan ni bi no obanya no fi ji esa no tan be short ni oke ba fata no yo kuni shika ada.
Okay. What are some of the multiple? Let's say you can, and let me use the ladies, maybe you can do some pastry, or we the men can do some extra work, something to add on to your income. You know, let me use myself as an example.
Ose ni obeka ne se anhwa yo ba obetimi aye esam ho ne ma se wotutu brodo ne ne ma ekeka ho ana se anhwa ye be ma obetimi akohwehwe adwuma de aka ne aye ne ho de dada. Obanya no tawo no twon konklo ke fata no no ofi ohe obanya no o shan ni bi no ho alo ke no jibwe ba tawo e konklo ke fata he.
Like I was in IT. So what did I do? So apart from my earnings from my company, I did a lot of jobs for organizations by writing programs and doing systems and things. And I raised money out of that as an additional income. I also traded, you know, in goods and spare parts and all kinds of things just to increase my income stream. Also, you could also even educate yourself to gain skills. If you gain a better skill, your employer become very important to your employer, and your employer will do what? Pay you more. Proverbs 22, I think 19 or what, that when you excel, you will not deal with common people. You will deal with kings. So now if you excel in whatever you do, and to excel means that you have to develop yourself. Right? So there are several schemes that you can use.
Nyo kan ne se ode no ho be ya mfato ho se ono osua IT mum enso ye ewone a oye adwuma na oye na echi no otonton niema oye IT programming ne niema ekeka ho de mankrofo ni nyina niema ahoro na oye nyina onya sika fi mu eno nso ma ni sika no ni ya na se ye bebre ni na o ni obetimi aye nso ne se obetimi esua ade enya ne de de kan ne awo de dada oye saa Oma fa we adwuma no omo de waketia no omo de bi beka ho na ye bebre sanso na obetimi aye eke he ba fe no kwemo ni le efe IT mu shi no na efe ji no mi e ho ni bi no mi efe programs kan ha gba me ni bi slot ni na shika kejemi na kan ni bo ho ba nya no fi alo ko tro ni ye hekwe kasemo ni ya ohe na nile ye ni bi mi koni me ni he wonu chuma me ba na ke so to hi onyo mo na ke o shika na ke ha boe ameke ko ba fata hi fe hu en no jigbe no ba nya no twon ni o shika ba nya ni da.
So our elder has said that it is important to do something else in addition to what you do. That is having multiple streams of income. In today's world, we usually call it having a side hustle, that you need to have a side hustle. He's also said that you need to grow, you need to improve yourself. You need to be able to command more than what you get. And that the only way to be able to do that is to make sure that you are excelling, you are being better at what you do, and then you can charge fees for what you are doing better. So these are the two ways that he's told us that you need to sort of be looking at in order to make more money. And so in growing your money, then I guess it moves us away from being able to say that the money is not even enough. Like, how do I save if this is all I'm making? But that sort of also takes us into, you need money to grow your money. So for instance, if you are starting a side hustle, the pastries example that we got, you need to buy the flour, you need to buy oil, you probably need to have some sort of oven, maybe not the one that you use in the house, or you may not even have an oven at all. Like, whatever side hustle you are thinking of, it might need something that takes away from your base income. So if Elder could sort of also address that for us, that how do you manage the little you have and then also start a side hustle with that little you have, and then you get to the point where now it is enough for you to be able to invest it.
Thank you, Anita. Also.
Yeah, Elder Nia can say na e was also share ejuma ho de kan ya won ho de da. Yes, ya say be say to aso ne say obetimi ayesa mo na sika o de be chance mo be nya afi sika na nkasa enso didida enti sika na o de be hye £3 na o ba betoto no be nya afi well da you care wa ke so ba nya no ta wonu chumo konklu ke fata no no ofi ohi ni o ba nya no kase ni no ya ohi na bi la bi ana keshi ni chumo konklu no ba no ba fie e ba hia shika ko ba no ba sha blodo ke ni bi eto ndo ba na shika no ke ba hia shikin sha ke ni bi ni fata he e wo e ke wo bi ni wo ba nya ni wo ta wo shika ni wo ta wo no chumo konklu ke fata he.
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
If you don't plan money, you will never get enough.
O se se wan hye o sika se ni a untimi nya bebre.
There
Ana
are-
e beso.
The little you receive, you should be able to plan it. How do we plan how to use that little? That's what I want to look at now.
O se kakra na obenya no e wo se o hwe se na o be hye o sika sem ho se na be ya ebenyi.
Some will call it, how do you budget that money?
Menko memba ka keshi o ko na shika ke o pa be no ba ye shika o duba enye ne tru ne onna pi e wo isani oto o shika begia no to duba.
And there are a few basic money rules. One is the what I call 70, 10, 10, 10.
O se sika no ye wo nhyehyeye bi ahoro ba nyone ye beka ho ba ko ne se wo be hyehye o sika no enson edu.
Okay. What is this 70, 10, 10, 10 rules?
San hyehye o be kyerɛ ye.
Whatever income you are receiving,
Sika bia on san ka no.
let's say I'm receiving my take-home pay.
Anhwa na ketua ye de ma no bosu ne bia.
Say take-home pay means that the money, as the word, that the money I'm taking home, when all taxes have been taken out, what I'm taking home.
Si ye bibia fi ma nia o de ko fie ho asem na okin.
Let me say 500 Ghana cedis.
Anhwa ye 500 Ghana cedis.
Okay. Because I say 500 Ghana cedi is not enough, should I just spend it? No.
Say all can say 500 Ghana cedis na so hwe nti on di keke.
No.
Na 500 Ghana cedis no jin shika na ke hande. Ke etu ni eta. E wo ni shika afa, e wo ye fe alo.
No.
Da.
The rule says that I will use 70% of that 500 Ghana cedis. Don't let me use 1,000 so that the calculation will be easy. So I'm taking 1,000 cedis. Take home. The rule says that I should spend on 700. That's 70%.
1,000 no de ko fie. Nhyehyeye na oni ye ka ho asem ne say 700 nkwa na obetimi edi efisa sika.
That is 70% of that money.
No, yeah, 70%.
As a Christian, I have to pay tithe.
We are Christian, so I was say, oh, ma wo chiche mu do affordable.
So that means I pay 100 cedis as tithe.
Nti no so bet you 100 cedis.
Right. Now, to have so more or less, I've used 80% of the money.
Nti if we use 80%.
Because I have to say, because I don't know tomorrow. Who knows tomorrow?
So bien ni be si ochinenti ehu hia ye so dibibesi.
So I also have to take another 10%, which is another 100 cedis out of the 1,000 to keep. To save.
It was off 100% for
Another 10%.
no they are tunching.
Then the last 10% is, it could be, if you have some debt to pay,
Ni aka no sanshan wo de ka
you may use it to reduce your debt.
obetimi akotie bi na aye kakra
Oh.
abafem kakra.
If you want to give donations or help other people, you may do that.
Anasa opese wo che anasa obo ankrofo bi asasika no na obeyi efim.
So you don't say that I want to get enough before I do this.
Nti won ka se o hwehwe se obenya bebre ansa na obeyesa. E chon wa keshin shika fe no ba na isani okekwa ato. Ochuoni ya have 1,000 Ghana cedis. 700 there no ji 70% no ba anye no ye. Ni Christopher eji wo isani o pay tithe. E won no ho e okebaba. No ne hwe 100 Ghana okeba fonshi ni mokule no ni baba wo se wo isani okena kan shika ato. No ne hwe kota won no wa mopalo no kwe alo hia nyomo na kan shika me no ba ji ekeje.
So as your finances improves, maybe your income generation improves, you may even realize that the 70% is too much.
Emma wo ye adwuma a wonye bi ka ho no obetimi ehun se wo di 70% na edoso dodo 700 mutimi hu se o edoso dodo.
Let's say you are earning 10,000 Ghana cedis.
And shall onya 10,000 Ghana cedis.
On the average, you tell us, look, putting aside 7,000 is too much.
O de 7,000 betu nchen no beka se edoso.
Right? No, so that's where your spending habits comes in.
And no one na se na odi usika no ebemu.
Your spending habits come in. So now if you are planned, you have a budget, tight budget, we are spending this on that, that on that, that on that, you then realize that you may not need 7,000, but you may need maybe 5,000 to live on.
Enti se wonya sa 7,000 wo ye won hihye ye na ocho bibi ho ne wo se odi ne wo se wo ye ni sika na wonya wo hu se ene ni se wo do sika ne keke anhwe mpa wo betu sa 7,000 ne so a wodi boso mi bia no betu so aba 5,000.
What then happens to the extra 2,000?
Enti 2,000 na kechi na nka no di no then na o de
It
be
goes into your savings.
wo san de besie
You know, it goes into your savings.
de besie
So you pay your tithe.
weti fia won chiche mu do affordable no.
If you are not owing anybody, the other 10% you can, because Christians we have to give, so you help other people or you can't eat.
Say ye Christopher was all boy tea saska na ebe kitchen o de be boan crofo.
So, Elder, what you've just said takes us to our next point. You said that it's important first to grow the money, and then as you grow the money, you have to have a plan for the money. And you've given us a basic rule about how to plan for our money. And you've said that as the income grows, you may not necessarily even need to spend 70% anymore. And then you put the money away. You start to save more out of the 70%, which segues us beautifully into how you plan for retirement. So as far as I'm concerned, the first part is growing your savings base, making sure that as your money increases, you are putting more away, you are not spending all of it, you have a budget to plan. But what else can we do as women to make sure that when we retire, when we are not actively working and income is not coming, you can still live comfortably?
Good.
Yeah, elder train. Say na e was here cry sika hu yie. Yeah, then 70% na ebe di. Wo di na e usika na dọọso no timi hu say 70% na obe brand ase obe ye nhyehyɛ. Nti efi ye send so ne ye nka se ne ebe ye nhyehyɛ se ne ebe ya. Ye bɔ abrewa a ye nkɔsresre de bia obi sama me chemisike de bi. Waka se be ni ko na shika isani 70% pen wo ye. Be o ha o type no ne hwe o ke ba to bo ke fi o ekebe me o ke wadme mi anani wo ka se won ta woni etwon wa ke shi ke no ba kra shika ni wo ha ne da koni ke wo twon ye mbe o ba nya ni wo kwe won no ni wo ya ni wo mbagbe me na me wa wo.
Before I answer this question, let me add this point. Again, if you are the discussion is looking at, we are centering more on the formal sector, but I've spent some time to look at the informal sector. The formal sector, we get bonuses at the end of the period. We get salary raise and all that. What do you do with that?
O se sa o ye ejuma ya hyehyɛ no wotimi nya bonus. Aketia asafe ne be wie ya ye de kan o bosume aketia ne ne keka ho ye kyeche o sika we ejuma se ejuma ne ye yi a unya sa sika no.
They should go into your savings.
Sa sika ne nyina e wo se odisie.
Yeah, because of maybe inflation, you may want to add a little bit onto your spending money. Let me use the word spending money. That's what sometimes was spending money.
And sure, say sika ebra se si de ni nko ne nim no. And sure be kakra de twa we no enso e wo se odi bi.
The bulk should go into your savings.
Sa sika ho na unya we adwuma na e wo se wodi ni na se ke ko ye otwoni ke afile bana gbe ya ke boshika ke ntumo hwele alo e bomodin. Na kan shika afen je ake sho ba yi isa no keto no ke fata shika no wo na fiu e.
The question you just asked me brings me to a point we call your net worth. Right? What are you worth financially in money terms? Your net worth.
Bisana we bisana na de ne ba bibia ye friend net worth.
Right. What does that mean? You look at your assets minus your liabilities. And what are my assets? My savings, my investments, if I have a plot of land, whatever thing that I know that has value, that I own, anything that has value that I own, I should be able to put price to it and deduct it from any debt I'm owing. The net of it tells you how rich you are.
O say nia obehwe ne say obehwe sika awunya anania ma awowo se owo asase anania ma owo e betimi ama osika ne afi obehwe liability se ka wode ne niam ma ma osika no ko obehwe mienu no uyi liabilities ne fi assets ne mu ane e beka no na kye wo se na ugina bia e wo sika sem.
Good. Now, when your savings grow, you don't keep the money as savings again. Why? Because monies lose value. Inflation.
Sa wo de sika ni siesie ya do so no unja ne sa sika e brase e ma afi keka ho no enti e wo se wo de sika ni ye bibi.
So what vehicle should I put the money in?
Enti sika no me mfa nhye ehyen ben
so that I don't lose value, but I even gain on it.
And
that process is called investment, investing.
And no near can say, what do we see can baby send a bear a benin?
Right, investment. Today, what are some of the investment tools we have?
So what do we see can be baby? I'm a name, a whole benny.
We can invest through some regulatory organizations.
Government, I say.
And some of them, you can invest as low as 100 CD, 50 CD into a fund, whatever they call it.
It be more 100 CDs, 50 CDs.
Whatever amount. But then what you do is that you must check that investment portfolio, how it's been doing over a period.
Answer now be yes and was so hwese sa edwumaye bia no sen na o edwuma na ekọ o mo tumpon wana sesen.
Right. And if you read that the trending looks positive and you can compare with others, then you choose that one. Then we call that we be doing some mutual fund or something. Just you put your little money, and the money grows. Halfway.
Utimi de usika ne share edwumaye bia kakra wo ha se na se na be ya sika ne benyin.
So mutual fund basically means that it is a fund that is being managed by a company but has many contributors.
Mutual fund no e sika edwumaye bia bi hweso. Enso wan wo de wo sika hye ho no dos.
So any little amount can be put into.
Enti kakra bi utimi de hye ho.
That's right. Then if you have the money, you can buy government treasury bills.
Wo sika nso utimi to government treasury bills.
You can buy government bonds.
Government bonds.
You know, you can invest on the stock market.
Stock market nso wo ho.
Right. But for me now, so I don't invest much on the stock market because I want liquid money. So I do more of government bonds, cocoa bills, treasury bills, and then I'm doing some mutual fund, and I'm doing the mutual fund purely to gather some quantum of money. Then I move the balance, I move that money into a bigger vehicle. So I'm using almost 4 or 5 investment protocols. Vehicles now.
Investments no oya ahoro be say anan na stocks ne de wejai na ne oya ne say o masi kakra no mani nyi anu eyi de akoshe bibi foforo sa no oye.
Let's say you want to build or buy a land.
And shall person sit down and ask person pass.
You don't have the money to go, so you should know you invest in someone so that as you get the money, after a while you then retire the investment and use it for it.
Say and shall person pass and also sit down. Now be say si can not the best hon kakra enya no way they acquire sage one.
Okay. Now with our current social security and pension, you got the tier 3. And the tier 3, you contribute to it.
Say yes, next na ya chichem so ba fear you what tier 3 and no ya the mount.
No. And tier 3 is like an optional investment vehicle the government is allowing to create without taxing you.
And no ye baby a government na hye say wo de musika be hye ho a omonti bi mfim.
So we have your basic social security where your employer pays, is it 18.5% and you pay 10%, 11%, whatever it is. Then which now covers both your tier 1, tier 2, which is compulsory, everybody is doing it. And the tier 3 is optional. But I commend all of that to do because it's because government is not taxing you on it. It's not taxing your income on it. So if you do tier 3, you gain more.
O see ye wa ho miensa mienu no tax mo ho so ne to so miensa ne tier 3 no be hye nyina mienu no enhyehyɛ wo ho se ɛwɔ se wo ye enso ne to so miensa no de se wo kan so be hye nyina kran se yenye fi se aban nti bi mfim.
And that can be towards your pension.
And then no ne ubetimi so ba fie se wo ba beje wa ho wa ye dwuma ewie no ubetimi a crisis can.
At your pension, as Anita has, you're going to get pension from government from your tier 1 or whatever it is. So if you want that pension to be enough, what do you have to do? It means you need to improve your income.
Enti se wo baba be fie so pese o pension ndo so a waketia no e wo se o ma ne ko nanim.
Don't allow your employer to cheat you and pay you, declare you small salary and give you allowances.
Mania otia o kani insisi wo Emma o base kakra bi no de niema ahoro akeka ho I endorse.
And just to come in here, you know, our elder has highlighted for us ways to grow our money, and then as the money grows, ways to invest it and make sure that you make even more money from what you have invested. I think that for a while the emphasis has been on when you are in the formal sector, because in respect of SME tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, in respect of the mutual funds, all of that. And also, I think it comes down to your risk appetite, because if you want to put your money in a mutual fund or you want to put it in treasury bills or whatever, it depends on how much you are looking to raise and what your risk appetite is. So if you're afraid that you are going to lose the money because for some of the funds it looks at the market, then you need to be investment savvy. But for those who are in the informal sector, for those who sort of don't have the tools to determine what is happening across board, he's also given us guidance that you can start by saving a little, and then when the money goes, you move it, you put it into treasury bills or somewhere that you are sure of. We can also talk to young people we know, people that they are not invested in what we want to earn. So don't talk to someone because they work in a particular place, and when you ask them, they'll say, oh, bring your money to this place that I work, and then in the end, it doesn't turn out well. So we've been able to tell what we can do to grow our money, what we can do to keep our money, what we can do to ensure that when we come on retirement, we can have funds that we can access. But Elder, finally, I think what we want to look at is, in your personal experience, what are some of the misconceptions that people have about money? And as Christians, this is for the ministry, is a Christian program. We also need to look at giving, that in respect of the misconceptions that there are, and when people are asked to give, a lot of times the idea is, oh, it's those who have who give. And so when you say it's those who give who have, sometimes the understanding is not there. So in talking about all these breakdowns, what are some of the misconceptions that you think people have about money, and in respect of giving to, how can we give and still ensure that we are growing our money and we are comfortable?
Inti ya elder ne ya kasa se ne ye behwe yesika ho se wo ye adwuma wo adwuma ye bia ya hyehye ana se wo nyempo no e wo se sika no bi wo kwa wo de besie eya kese ana o de ahye baby fofo unya nimde wo baby a wo de sika ne kwa akohye adwuma na etu ho ana se entu ho ni nyina wo besia ho asem wo ye adwuma nso a wo snet ne nso wo se wo hwe ho ya elder ne ya kasa na eme ho se ne be ya ye ba fiana se ye ba brewa ye behwe efi ye besua se niam ana adwendwen ana se niam bi e wo kwa nkrofo dwen de fasika ho a anhwa en sesa na se ni sa se ye dwen de fasika ho ne se ne ye be ma emra e wo se ye hwe ye sika so enso waka se beni wo ke wo shika ba to beni wo ba na shika ni ba mi short keje be short ya mi poni wo shika da wo kase snet ho no ni masha ke shi wo fe ke no ni tier 3 e ho ni wo banya ni wo ke wo shika fo jeme ka o tun mo na ncho nuchu mo ho e o ke ba shika e ko ba to ye nuchu mo pi ni wo yo ba bi hesani ka tun bo na ehi de o ko shika ya wo jeme ya ne wo ba no ba kase ni bi ni be menjo ye shika he ni je na kan ni ha mo ho e ten no ba ha ni oshika afa ni alo obaha ni okwe oshika no ojuba.
Let's look at Luke 6:38. I always like to use the Lord himself in his own quotations. The Lord tells us to give to others, right? And God will give to us. Give to others and God will give to us.
Ase enche such upon e say ma ni rade so be ma.
And in the measure which you give, the Lord will replenish it to you.
Se na o man sara ni rade be shira so asan de ama.
That we should generously help.
Yemma niamboa wakoma paso.
Giving is easy if you realize that you are just a channel or a vessel God is using.
Oh man no eyemro so say we ye kwan anyame fa so de ehira nkofo.
Because it is not your hard work alone
Enye se wo ye dwumaden ne nko
that brings you blessing,
na ema wo nhira.
that makes it fruitful.
Now ena ema wo tu pon ana se onya eduaba bebre.
It is the favor of the Lord.
Eye Awurade anim pa no.
Right. So once you realize it is not your name, but it is God's favor,
Mu se nya wo we dwumaden bi a wo ye na Awurade anim pa no.
it becomes easy to give.
Fi na yemre se obema.
Brothers and sisters, to me, giving is one of the greatest means for you to raise your income.
Se obema nya sika bebre no. Ekwan ba kwa betimi afa so ne se o ma.
Because the Lord has said that if you give, He will give you more than you did. So if you trust God, if you have faith in the Lord, it shouldn't be difficult.
Awurade ahye yen bo nti wo gidie wo Awurade mu a eni se ye wo de.
Right. We Christians, many of us, we are not prospering because we even fail in paying tithes. As simple as that.
Ye num Kristo num bi no nia nti a yen ko yenim ne se yen cheche mu do ne mpo no yen tia.
How does God's work or ministry go on?
Na me adwuma na ebe ye den na akọ enim.
Right. Our calling as Christians is to help to evangelize the word.
Se ye friend ye se Kristofo no yas ye adwuma ne se ye ne ye beka Kristo ho asem a kire enkofo.
You can't do it without money.
Untimi nye so ni sika.
And you yourself may not even be able to do it. It takes an organization, it takes a church, it takes an
Na
organization.
wonkwa untimi nye mpo. E wo se ekuo ana se enkofo ma ka bom na o ma ba na o ma ye se adwuma.
So if you don't support God's work
Nti se wan bo anyame adwuma
through your tithing and free will giving,
se wo ma no
do you expect Him to bless you?
ebe ye den na nyame be hira.
So for me, a Christian should not have a problem at all in giving,
So ye Kristo ni anyim eni se ye odin se obema.
unless you don't have faith, unless
Se
you don't
uni
trust God.
tidia. Wo eldan ke wa keshin no komeji ye wa ke wa keshin wo ha ni le ba ha wo. Ni Kristofo eji wo e mashishin akeshin wo fe na kan ni no jigbe no kome ni ba nye ne ke wa keshin ke wo fe oba hwele wo ma na shikapi.
So that answers the question then, that is the giving that you have, even though people have this misconception that those who have are the ones who give. And the word tells us that a good man shows favor and lendeth, but he will guide his affairs with discretion. So it's important from all the principles that we've learned today that you would show favor, you would lend to people, but you also guide your affairs with discretion. So our elder has showed us how to guide our affairs with discretion. So elder, a lot of our emphasis has been on salaried workers, people who are in the formal sector. But if you are in the informal sector, how do you also make sure that apart from saving, apart from investing your money, if you don't have a regular source of income like the salaried workers do, so how do you manage your finances?
Yesia wa wo adwuma wonya aketia bosomi bia fi ye besia wa wo tonton ade wa wo ye wa wonsa no adwuma ne ne ekeka ho sen no bekura wo sika sen ho afa me ni chu a me den cha me ni chu ni be na me na shika atokula ojuba ten na me ho a me ba kwa me shika sane no.
Or even if you are not working, you are a stay-at-home mother or wife, and so your only source of income is probably your spouse. How do these groups of people manage their funds as well?
Alo ke wo ye shampoo shika no na wo le ha bo shika fi o. Alo wo ye shampoo bi ha bo shika fi o. Ten no ba ko shika no ojuba.
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Let's take this example. Let's say there's a trader at the Kanishi market. He trades. she trades in tomatoes. And she spends, her trading capital is 500 Ghana cedis. Right, so that's what she used to buy the ware, 500 Ghana cedis. And she sells the ware at about 800 Ghana cedis. Right. Let's say every week she sells 800. So basically, the gross profit is what? 300 Ghana cedis. Since she gets 300 Ghana cedis every week, it means that at the end of the month, times 4,200. Okay. This lady should be able, over a time, pay herself some average and say, look, every month I'm able to get about 8,000 Ghana cedis. But it's not wise to spend the whole 1,000. So she will say, look, I'm paying myself 800 Ghana cedis. And the 200 Ghana cedis every month will be added on to my 500 principal or working money. Okay. So she will also now do exactly the person the former setter is doing. Telling us that I'm earning 800 Ghana cedis a month. So I'm paying myself 800 Ghana cedis. So out of the 800 Ghana cedis, I do exactly like we talked already. 70%, 10%, you do it and start saving out of it. And in the informal sector, really, they do better. They do this susu and things. But please, the susu, don't do it with the quacks. No, yes, because they tend to lose a lot of, but that's the way they say to pay their kids' school fees and all. It's through the susu. Now there are some good companies, savings and loans companies that are so you can save through them. And then some of them even do it daily. Because they know how much they can. So every day I'll give the susu man 20 Ghana, 20 cedis. So they've been doing it. But because informal, but they pay to the susu people. So do that. But the important point I want to make here that pay yourself some salary, some income. They don't do that. So with time, they tend to lose the capital because challenges do happen and they lose the capital. But if they were paying themselves, say, look, I'm paying myself every month 800 cedis and I plan my life on the 800 cedis, they would then do the capital and be able to do the things we are asking for. Investment is the same everywhere, but they tend to use a lot of the what you and I may call mutual fund. You get what they will use the to start.
Yeah, ni wama yemfa twanhwa oton ade wo connection. Oton wi a sika na wonya no. Ti sese ne ya kire won a wo ye ejuma wo ejumaye bia wonya won bosomi aketua no. Sara na won so beye. Wonya wo sika na e wo so otua ho. Na sika na wo de ye ejuma ne de e wa afa. Otua ho ka wi a 70 10 na ya kan. Sa so na onso beye omonso omoye susu ne de yen so hwese susu na wo ye no yen krofo a wo yen krofo papa amon kodu sika anasa omon se no nti wo so hwesa na ne etasi ne se omontua omon ho ka anasa omon ni hyehye ya wo beka se we ye sika a metimi edi we de me de be hye adwuma ne mu biom we de me de be sie se wanye sa hyehye na obehu no na wo sika na wo de ye adwuma ne nyina wa bre na ase anhwempa na ejuma na ase nti eho hia se ode nhyehyeye betoto ho na susu na obeyi o de be hye bank o de be hye savings and loans so eho hia se wo nso obeye sa wo elder ke we wie many honi nele wo honi ko na shika esani ojame to mo be na atro many choni ye banks ke ni be 70 10 10 70% o ba pay o here alone esani okeshika ekwato ni noji nyomo wo ni owo he dani no ni ba hwe okay ko ba wo ni twoma mi eko ho okay ba to amefi osusu no hu susu na afi o ehin wa she esani okwe akeshi susu na afi o be me papa no ko shika ha shi no ni ya no be PG shika meke amewo amedencha amehenyomo ewo a ye shika no bina ba na capital a lo shika na ke ntuni fe ebashi ebanye ni bale mpo akeshi nuchumo mpo ba afite she hia akeshi ba wo henyomo alo ke shika ko ba to no ba le akeshi 700 no penny manyama ye no ne hwe intahi oke ba to no ne isani oke asomo oke te isani o shika no na isani o jame ojuba no ke chuni ojuba.
So that I believe is the principle that runs across regardless of what sector you are in, whether you're a housewife, whether you are in the informal sector, whether you're an employee, whether you're an entrepreneur, whatever it is that you are doing, what comes in, make sure that you have allotted a portion to yourself, 70%, as our elder has said, or whatever will be comfortable. But if you don't plan, you will fail. So you need to plan, you need to have a plan for the money. So whatever you are doing, whatever income you get, whatever you are calling it, the money that comes in, allot it, and then it will grow. You will grow it, and then as you grow it, you will invest it, and then you'll be able to do the things you want to do with it and be comfortable when you go on retirement. So Elder, finally, going into the new year, we would like to know what are some of the ways that we can plan so that we'll be better in spending our money, in managing our resources.
Enti elder train say fa ho baby a ye adwuma ne da ho ane say usika ne wo say onye nhyehyeye no wehu ne ubedi ne a de beto afa ne a de bekwa asori ne ne keka ho be en fa ho baby a ye adwuma wo say odi so efi ye be wura afefufuro mu say na wo be ye nhyehyeye say ne be ya usika sem no be ko ne nim efi ye elder ne ye beka ho asem.
Praise the Lord, praise the Lord, praise the Lord. You need to have goals. What do I mean by goals? What do you want to achieve next year? You want to achieve something financially. You want to improve your life. You want to improve your family's life. Right. So set clear-cut goals and work towards the goals.
Keno ni ekeba boy ni bi bejano to no ekeba fonshi ni won ya afi conclude ni ji esani ona no kwemo ni alo no ko no tagbe no ba afi alo no ba na afi conclude ni won ba botemi esani ona lo jugba ni bi no tawo ni ofi alo ni bi no tawo no na ni edikan ni se wo se onya iniswade hu bi ni a opese oye anase niema obepese wonsan beka afefofo yi aye ba bewrem e wo se onya mi credit ni a wopese oye.
And then you work at it. And I believe that every human being, you must think about financial security in the long run. Because that's the question, how do I retire? You must think about finance. And it doesn't take a year. It's a goal you set ahead. And then you work towards it. And as we said about financial security, that am I comfortable if I'm not working tomorrow? Right? To live, to have control over my finances. That you should have enough money that pays your debt, that takes care of your expenditure. And as you are growing, there are a lot of bills, emergencies. Right? That is, and if you don't have enough money, in fact, you can have pressure. If you are thinking too much, when you think, anxiety creates problems. So if you don't have fun, if you are not planning for financial security, one day you may even die young. I'm sorry.
Ubenya sike bia ode ato nchen eno kan ya wo se odwendwen hu se o ye nhyehyeye de ma afi a ye ba bewem sani okwe akeshi o wo se o shika sani ba afi ten e wo sani odwen no he hu be ni o sa o he ken ha o shika gbe bejiano to ken ha afi conclude ni mo ba ni oba botem.
And you work towards that goal.
You no careful she is no true heni nya de niema opese on saka no na eniswade ho na wo no e wo se we di ho dwuma.
How do you work towards that goal?
Say na obedi ho dwuma.
If you need to improve your earnings,
So pese wo sika sem ko n'anim a
your income,
sika a wogye
then what we said earlier, you must plan what additional jobs will I do
ene wo se ohwehwe se edwuma foforo ben na obetimi aye aka ho
to be able to have enough and plan for my future.
na wenya bebre se na be ya ochina obetimi atena ase a wonya yare ya oda kan se odwendwen antimi nya pressure
No.
nti e wo se
So that is important.
nti eno ho hia
So let's all plan. Be it mother, be it father, be it parents. We must, our 2022, set up a plan for yourself. That covers your children, that covers your family.
nti 2022 ayeba bewe wo se ebusuako ni nyina oba okunu ayerio wo se obi aye nhyehyeye a ode befa afi 2022 ayeba bewe mu.
And that must be, it's also must take care of your money. That's why I said, what are your financial goals?
Nti usika sem no emiswade hu be na wo otro a no ahwe se na obetimi aye no aye hu dwuma.
And within the year, review your goals.
Afeni komu a afi bosome etwam ne ne ekeka ho no e wo se ne awatro no osanfa no ahwe ne awka se obeye no udi so ana ke no ne sane ofeji esane ke weku efe esane atashi ke ngajibu ke boji wo esane alobi esane otashi ni okwe afi no oba no oba botemi emi ni masumoni mafe ten ni masumoni ma ya ehie shika san ko kwefe be okeni bi ye fofon ehye na afi len we okwe oni na ehye ochu heni o review okwe da ke da koni oni ni alo bomodin yo shika gbefa.
Thank you.
So with everything that we've heard today, with everything that we've learned, we realize that in order to do these things properly, we need to have a plan. So going into the new year, it's important for us to know what we want out of the year, what our financial goals are, what we are looking forward to. And then once we have a target, we know that we are working towards the target. And our elder has also told us that it's important that you do an appraisal, you review your target, you see whether as you are working towards it, is that still what you want? Is that how you want to go about it? And so that in the end, we would all be able to benefit from our hard work. We will know that we have something set aside for the days to come. There are a number of things that we haven't been able to talk about because of time constraints, but we will be able to look at it another time. For instance, insurance, because you can have all the plans and then one medical scale, one funeral, a death that was unexpected. It can just take you off the plan. It will take away all the money you've been putting away. So these are things that some other time we would be able to look at. But we want to thank our elder so much for his time. We've learned a lot, and if we would implement it, then the Lord will also add his blessings to it. Amen. And then we will become women who are wealthy, who are able to do the things that we want to do and be comfortable. God bless you so much, Elder. We are grateful for your time.
Thank you.
Isianyema bebre ye beda ye elders ye mwenti ntimi kanyema ahuro ho ase ensi ye dibesi ha se nyame ye adoma emre fofo ye beto aso wanda no church wo kase ni bi mom hye wanya ni wo kwa ni bi pi kanyuma afi wodum be konklu wo ba kwefe wo ba da wo elders ma job ojuta.
Thank you.